Welcome, Megan.
Good
Megan,
evening. Hi.
How are you? Thank you for coming, for making your debut.
Thank you. It's a pleasure to be here. I'm doing good. Thank you for having me.
Thank you. So, in the past, when we were in person a lot, we literally went around and allowed everyone to introduce themselves. And then the number of attendants in our meetings started getting too large to do that. And plus, some people didn't really understand the definition of introduction. They thought we wanted them to tell their life history. So we stopped that, and believe it or not, a lot of people were disappointed about that, and a couple of people even told me that that's why they stopped coming, because they no longer felt validated. All this to say, if the attendance is not extremely high tonight, this would be a good way to let everyone feel a part of the meeting. And then that way you'll have an idea of who's on the call.
Okay, sounds good. So do you want everyone to introduce themselves?
Yes.
Okay, perfect. Okay.
And we'll do that before you and Lisa start talking, and that way you'll have an idea who's on the phone or who's online. Welcome, Scarlett.
Hello.
Hi.
hello.
Welcome, Sheri. I did see Sheri coming on, but she disappeared.
So there's a long kind of debate road of Muppets and puppets. I don't know.
Oh, there you are. Sheri.
Good to see you guys.
Sheri.
We led with this big
She's,
debate.
she's muted. Is that Sheri's TV or someone else?
It's me.
Okay. So Sheri, I know you said you had to leave at 7 p.m.
Yes.
But I'd like to, before you go, maybe at 5 of 7, I'd like to call on you to talk about your upcoming speaking engagement.
Down. Yep. Will do.
To who? Okay. To who? And my Siri is very sensitive today for some reason. So if you hear extra feedback, I don't know why. Siri, I do not want you to say anything, okay?
It's so funny.
Yeah.
To who?
Is that Siri? Yeah, that's Siri. Yeah. No, that's Siri. I don't know. This is something new with the phone. Sometimes I can be talking, and if the pitch of my voice is a certain decibel, she will start talking.
Oh.
Anything from right away, repeat that. So she was just saying to who, and grammatically speaking, Siri, it's to whom. Well, she didn't say anything, so maybe she's stopped butting in. So how are things in Richmond, Virginia?
All is well. We are, actively recruiting for the American Cancer Society study, and just taking it one day at a time, and doing the necessary work. Yeah. So.
Okay.
Doing pretty good. Happy to grow our connections with you all and other partners in the DMV area. I actually do live in the DMV area, so it's great to build partnerships here in this area.
Okay. And
Absolutely.
okay, and speaking of building partnerships, I thought so normally I introduce our speakers and keep it very short, but I think tonight I'm going to allow, I will say about how we met, but then I will let you and Lisa introduce yourselves, so that will give you an opportunity to tell us a bit more about you, and that is not time taken away from your 10 minutes. Okay. And especially since you are all the way from Richmond, Virginia. Oh, you ladies really did a great job to your hair. Your hair looks completely different, Megan, from when we met the other day.
I got it colored. Thank you.
It's really nice.
Thank you so much. I appreciate it. It's my first time coloring it, so I'm excited it came out nice.
Oh, you did it yourself?
No.
Oh, I was going to say, you're really bold.
Talents.
Yes. Mm. I do know some of my ambassadors are going to be on the call. And the good thing about this is recorded, so it will be here for people. It will go on the website. So this meeting really snuck up on me. I have to admit, I was thinking it was next. I mean, and I have these meetings on my calendar probably all the way up to 2030. But this week came in on a Wednesday. This month came in on a Wednesday, and I am thinking the meeting is next week. So we really had to scramble to make this happen as opposed to canceling. And Lisa, I kept thinking about while I was hanging out with you guys, I should have been home working on my meeting.
Well, we had a great time, so who could tell? We had a great time.
Yes. I mean, and all of us, not all of us, but there were several of us that was confused because when I mentioned the night before, I said, well, I really have to get off the phone because I have my meeting. And it was like, which meeting? I said, my support group. No, it's not until next week, Thelma. I said, no, it's tomorrow night. And then they had the nerve to ask me if I was for sure. So, all right. So it's 6:29, but we'll just keep chatting, and at 6:35, I really think we should get started. So how are the sign up coming along, Lisa, for Making Stride?
And for Making Strides, it's really good. It usually kicks off like in the summertime, even more so, because then people know it's getting closer to that time, but people are starting to sign up and get folks on board. So it's coming along very nicely.
Okay.
Very good.
I want to say for the last few days, most of my emails that require action have come from the American Cancer Society. Three different segments. No, actually four, because Allison, you,
Yeah.
Jean, and TJ, and the guy named Brandon, or it's the latest. So it's 5 different aspects of ACS.
Because you're so involved. We all just want everybody got a little piece of Thelma. So, but yeah, we've got so much going on and great things, exciting things. So yeah, there's a lot happening.
Yes, yes. And let's not forget Taswana.
Yes.
But I guess you and Taswana are sort of in the same
Yeah, same. But we usually, if she does something, and she's gonna go away for a little while. So I'm taking on a lot of her stuff while she's gone away for a little bit. Yeah,
Oh,
for
wow.
a wedding.
She's getting married?
Yes, she is. Yes,
Oh my God.
she sure is.
Oh my God. Where is she getting married at?
In the Carolinas, in North Carolina. It's gonna be Memorial Day weekend, but she's going to get there to get prepared and get everything together. So we're excited.
Are you going to the wedding?
I have been invited and I am going to the wedding.
But what, because I'm from North Carolina. What part?
I'll find out again. Let me gotta look at it's over by a lake. Hold on a second. I gotta look because I'm flying. I'll get you in a minute.
Because and I'm going to be in North Carolina Memorial Day weekend.
Yeah.
Not that I'm inviting myself to the wedding, because I have a full weekend of commitment. It's an annual thing since 1976. So
Yes, I fly into Charlotte Douglas, North
okay.
Carolina. And it is. Let me get the address of the location of the place. I'm staying at a true hotel. Let's say, it's an unusual place. Let me get this. What's in the lobby? I have to pull my ticket. See where I'm going. I'm glad I'm checking now. Oh, I get there. Oh, that's when I'm leaving. That's why it's on this day here. Here. It's in Mooresville.
Oh, never heard of that place.
Yeah, Mooresville, North Carolina. I think it's probably about a good 25 minutes away from that airport in
Okay.
Mooresville.
And is that where her partner is from?
No, that's where her aunt is.
Okay.
And she'll be around there. So,
Oh, okay.
yeah.
Oh, all right.
Okay, we have connected Miss Sheri, Miss Scarlett, Megan, Denise, Miss Thelma, Miss Lisa.
Okay.
Okay, we are waiting for Miss Sade.
No, she sent an email saying she just arrived from out of town.
Okay,
Yes.
yes.
I just saw her email.
Perfect. Okay, I'll check a detail.
Okay. So if you let me know when to start, and when we're being recorded, I'm all good to go.
Yes, we are close. Just wanna get a link and we are ready.
Okay.
Okay. Yes.
Thank you. Good afternoon. My name is Thelma D. Jones, and I am the proud founder of the Thelma D. Jones Breast Cancer Fund. Tonight, I'm wearing a few different titles, and because I'm in an era that some people love titles and others aren't that crazy about them, I'm going to give them all. So I'm here in my capacity as the founder of the Thelma D. Jones Breast Cancer Fund, a breast cancer survivor of 17 years. I am also here in the capacity of a new role, an ambassador for the American Cancer Society, Voices of Black Women. And I'm here also as a 2023 President Joseph R. Biden Presidential Lifetime Achievement Award. So this evening, I'm wearing a number of hats that's weighing down my lovely head. So thank you all for your patience while I shared that. And welcome to the Thelma D. Jones Breast Cancer Fund Support Group meeting for May. Our theme for this evening is images of hope and encouragement. And that's almost a self-explanatory thing, because when we think of hope, we think of a feeling or an expectation of desire for something to happen. And certainly we all are hoping for a cure so that no other child, mother, sister, daughter, aunt, or cousin will have to hear the word, you have the words, you have breast cancer, or for that matter, a father, brother, uncle, as men do get breast cancer. And when we think about the word encouragement, it is about an action of giving someone support, confidence, and hope. So hope and encouragement, as we can see, are so inextricably intertwined. And this evening, we have two lovely ladies who will be sharing information that will continue to give us hope and encouragement. One of our speakers, Dr. Megan Edmonds, from all the way from Richmond, Virginia, who is with us, of course, via Zoom, as all of us are, and even closer here at home, or I should say, Dr. Edmonds will talk to us about a wonderful study called SIS, or Sisters Informing Sisters. And then from the American Cancer Society in the Northeast region, we have our own Lisa Baynes. And Lisa will talk about ACS, or the American Cancer Society, making strides against breast cancer, which I know all of you will be attending the walk in October. I won't steal her thunder, so I'll let her give us more details on that. And she will also be talking about the faces of hope. So I am happy to welcome you. And I want to thank my dear friend, Perry Hamlin, who has welcomed me in her home. So I am speaking to you all the way from around the corner from my house here in Southwest DC. We are being recorded, and the recording will be available on the website immediately after the event. So to get us started off, we will have Perry Hamlin give us an opening prayer, and we are sharing computers. So I will let Perry speak. Thank you, Perry.
Hi, everybody. Good evening. Thelma put me on the spot and asked me how I felt about giving prayers, public prayers, and I told her I didn't like it, but I did tell her that I had a favorite prayer that I say privately to myself. So I would like to start out with that. And that's called, I'm sure a lot of you are aware of the Serenity Prayer. So I'd like to say it out loud. God grant me us the serenity to accept the things we cannot change, the courage to change the things we can, and the wisdom to know the difference. And then I want to just add a little bit onto this. Dear Lord, tonight, please help us to have a productive and informative meeting. And at the end of the night, I pray that we all feel more loved, supported, hopeful, and encouraged. Thank you.
Wow, for someone who doesn't enjoy doing this, I think she did an excellent job, don't you? We might put her on the agenda other times. Thank you, Perry. And just as a side note, Perry and I serve on the Southwest Scholarship Task Force here in Southwest DC. And the task force has raised or has awarded more than 530 awards to more than 250 kids, totaling an amount over of $444,000. And the task force has been going on since 1974, and it actually started here in our complex of River Park. And I am very proud to say that her daughter, who is a graduate of Spelman University, is a 3 or 4 time recipient? 3-time recipient of one of the Southwest scholarships. And her daughter is gainfully employed as a producer on the 1A, and her name is Haley Blassingame. So if you are a 1A lover, I know you hear Haley a lot because I often hear the shows that she produces, and I feel so proud to know that we have helped to invest in her future. So if you're not an NPR listener, especially 1A, I would encourage you to go and listen to Haley and see the benefits of what we're doing here in Southwest. So thank you again, Perry. And so earlier I said that normally we, in previous times, we would go around and introduce everyone either at the meeting or online. However, the numbers of attendees became a little too large to do that. But tonight, I think we have a nice, intimate audience that will allow us to introduce ourselves. And that way, our 2 speakers will have a bit of knowledge about who they will be sharing their information about hope and encouragement to. So let me just see if I can see who is on the line. But I'm sorry. I will start with Sheri Denkensohn. And Sheri, if you could introduce yourself, and please don't forget to tell about the achievement that we did under your leadership with the American Cancer Society, making strides against breast cancer.
Sure. Thanks, Thelma. Hi, everyone. It's a pleasure to be here among these faces that I recognize, coming off of a great Saturday sponsored by the American Cancer Society. Their blush brunch was just fabulous. Great photos. It was wonderful to be a part of that. And to be a part of, basically, it was sort of full circle. When I was first diagnosed 14 years ago, what kept me going and gave me hope and encouragement was getting involved with making strides against breast cancer. And I started raising money at that time. That was before I knew Thelma. And then when I became involved with the support group, we joined forces. And on year 12, we get the $100,000 mark. So that was quite an achievement for all of us. We're really proud of it. We know through the American Cancer Society how little is used for overhead and how that money is really going to be used for research and for care and for rides to treatment and all good things. So for anyone on this call who has not been involved, when Lisa talks, you need to get off and sign up. So I am a 14-year survivor. I'm also a quadriplegic. And I would like to let you know that I'm also involved, thanks to Thelma, the Great Connector. Every November, she has a meeting devoted to the theme of healthcare and disability. Breast cancer, the main issue. And I got to meet a woman by the name of Kimberly Beer, who is from the Christopher and Dana Reeve Foundation. I met her at a meeting that Thelma held. And as a result, I am now a regional championship for the Reeve Foundation, as well as an ambassador for the Thelma D. Jones Breast Cancer Fund. So, you know, it all works together. And on May 22nd, it was in the last, one of the last newsletters, and Thelma will put in there again. So please pay attention, but they are doing a series on women's health. And on May 22nd, I'll be on a panel with a physician, as well as another woman with muscular dystrophy, who's a breast cancer survivor, talking about our experiences as individuals with disabilities and the whole realm of breast cancer, all the way from what do you hear from your doctor regarding preventative treatment, getting breast cancer, mammograms in general, all the way to the follow through in life afterwards. So it's a pleasure to speak tonight. Look for that in the newsletter. Sign up. It's at 3 p.m. If you sign up and for some reason you can't come, you will get a recording. So make sure that you sign up. And I really appreciate the opportunity to share that. And I'm really excited about our team, which doesn't have a name yet. So stay tuned. It's gonna be a big surprise. Thanks, everyone.
Thank you, Sheri. That's true. We've started raising money, so it just goes to show that you don't necessarily have to have a name when you're focused on a good purpose. And I am pleased to say that my son, Jamal Jones, and his son, Seneca Jones, are going to be our team captain. And I'm just so thrilled about that, because a couple of years ago, I had to twist his arm almost until it broke to to get him to do that. And this year, I only had to twist it a tiny bit. So they are really coming of age and recognizing the importance. Seneca, who's 13 years old, has been attending the Making Strides Against Breast Cancer walk since he was like 4 or 5. So I'm happy to know that I am educating him early about breast cancer. So thank you, Lisa, for the great work that you're doing, and that we will hear more about it. Now, and Sheri was mentioning the Dana and Christopher Reeve Foundation, and I think everybody that I can see on the call knows about it, but we are also going live from Facebook. And in the event that someone on the Facebook audience is not aware of the Dana and Christopher Reeve Foundation, I always say it's the Superman Foundation, because Christopher Reeve was the actor for who played the role as Superman. And many of you may remember that he had a terrible accident, and as a result, that became one of his passion and mission in life, in terms of raising great awareness about paralysis. So, and we are so happy that the Christopher and Dana Reeve Foundation have partnered with the Thelma D. Jones Breast Cancer Fund, as Sheri indicated. So every month, every year in November, the Dana and Christopher Reeve Foundation are a leading part of our November breast cancer support group. So thank you again, Sheri. Next, Scarlett Streeter. I'm sorry, Scarlett Small. Scarlett's my high school classmate. She was a streeter in high school.
I still am.
Yes.
Good evening, everyone. As Thelma said, we are high school classmates, and I moved in the area in 2006 and actually started to volunteer occasionally with the Thelma D. Jones Breast Cancer Fund organization, occasionally in 2014. Somehow I gradually became a member of her board, serving as secretary, as also as an ambassador, and I support her in other areas. I am not a cancer survivor, but I am a staunch supporter, and I believe in what she's doing. And I'm very happy to be amongst this group of ladies and men in February usually, because I've learned so much, and I can encourage others who may be on their journey through this particular process to give them encouragement because of some information I'm aware of. And of course, there's so much I don't know, but I do know that Thelma knows. So she's my my one phone call for the answers to know who knows who in order to help other people that I may come in contact with. And on this line, I've seen many people that I've met because of this, and it has really been a good thing for me. And I'm just looking forward to this evening's speakers. Thank you.
And Scarlett, you also had a role as a caregiver.
Yes,
Yes.
yes. My daughter was diagnosed with lupus, and when she was 9 years old. For 33 years, we were involved with the healthcare system to try to find something that would give her a quality of life. And it was dismal because doctor said she wouldn't see 13, she wouldn't be 16, she wouldn't be 25. And God allowed her to be here until she was 40 in 2016. So through that, I kind of had a lot of run-ins with the medical system when they tell you, no, we can't do that. No, we're not authorized to do that. And so I kind of developed a way of navigating the medical system for the best care. So I was my daughter's advocate for 33 years.
Okay, thank you. Now, I understand that Dr. Edmonds has another commitment. And so I'm just going to pause here on the introductions and allow Dr. Edmonds to speak, and then we will return to the introductions. So Dr. Edmonds is from Virginia Commonwealth University, or VCU, and I met her in working with Dr. Vanessa Shepard, who has a very distinguished position at VCU. And as many of you know, she has been our guest speaker for our September anniversary meeting of the Thelma D. Jones Breast Cancer Fund for the last 2 consecutive years, and she will be our guest speaker again in September. So that is my connection with Dr. Edmonds. Even though we did discover that we had connected with each other a few years ago and did not know that fate would bring us together in this capacity. So Dr. Edmonds.
Yes. So it's been a pleasure to be reconnected with you, Ms. Thelma, and I am happy to be here to represent with Virginia Commonwealth University, in particular the American Cancer Society funded breast cancer study that was awarded by Dr. Vanessa Shepard to really focus on improving breast cancer outcomes, particularly in Black women. And so this study is happening right here locally in Richmond, Virginia, and we're also recruiting in the DMV area. And so we'll like to first start with the video that we have. So if I could share my screen with you all, I could start there. And then we can proceed with any questions. And then I have a few things I'd like to share as well about the project, just to inform everyone here who I know have touch points in the community, and who may know any newly diagnosed Black breast cancer patients. The study is primarily and only focused on Black women who are newly diagnosed with breast cancer, to really support them in their breast cancer decision-making, and also supporting their communication with their cancer care team. So let's get started with the video. And it does nicely, let's see. It nicely shows us
Well, while you were
project. So
bringing it up, I did want to recognize that we have some callers on the line. Roberta Bell, a breast cancer survivor, and Cathy DeBow, who is a member of the Thelma D. Jones Breast Cancer Board.
great. I'll go ahead and get started.
Okay.
I'm excited to tell you about a study now over in PCU. The study, entitled Improving Communication and Adherence in Black Breast Cancer Survivors, is funded by the American Cancer Society and is a clinical trial focused on African American women with breast cancer. The study is being conducted in Virginia and in Washington, D.C. This non-therapeutic interventional trial will test the efficacy of a culturally tailored intervention entitled Sisters Informing Sisters, or SIS, on improving patient adherence to systemic therapy and patient-centered communication. SIS was developed in partnership with African American survivors, advocates, and health professionals. In this two-arm trial, women will be assigned to either the SIS intervention or enhanced usual care. The intervention includes 3 sessions with a trained survivor coach over 1 year, and also receive a culturally tailored patient guidebook. Women in the enhanced usual care arm will receive a low literacy summary of their recommended treatment. The team at BCU is led by Dr. Vanessa Shepherd and includes several collaborators such as Dr. Lashanah. At the time of funding, this was the largest single investigator grant awarded in Virginia from the American Cancer Society. We want to be sure that we're able to recruit 200 women from Virginia over the next 4 years. For more information, please contact us by telephone. Thank you, Cleo.
Generally, you see images with the video, but we didn't see any images.
You didn't see any images with the video?
No, we didn't.
Oh,
And I started to stop you and tell you that, but then.
oh, okay. So what did you see?
Yes, we only listen the audio, but in the menu, you will see a button that says share screen in the middle, or new share. You can share your screen.
So can you see the screen now? No. Oh, okay. Yeah, it says your screen share is
And then
loading.
you click on the arrow, and then it's gonna let you choose the screen.
Yeah, I did. So I'm unsure. I'm sorry. I don't know why it's not I'm sharing. I know I do a lot of screen sharing on Zoom. So but I do notice that when I do click share, it does say your screen share is loading. So sorry about that. But
I think I'll make you a host. I think that was a problem.
okay. I could replay the video, or I know we can also email it out to everyone and share it.
You can now again. You should be able to share it.
Okay. Let's see. You want to move to the table? It's still saying your screen share is loading. Can you go see now? It says I'm sharing screen now.
No.
I think you have to stop sharing your screen. Whoever's sharing the screen with the Thelma D. Jones on there, you have to
Uh,
stop that one. There we go.
Thank you. Yes, that was a problem. Sorry.
Oh, that's probably why it didn't load. I'm sorry. I can see my screen, so I wasn't seeing. Okay, can you see now?
Okay.
Okay, sorry about that. We're gonna clip that out and then replay the video. Okay.
I'm excited to tell you about a study. The study entitled Improving Communication and Adherence in Black Breast Cancer Survivors is funded by the American Cancer Society and is a clinical trial focused on African American women with breast cancer. The study is being conducted in Virginia and in Washington, D.C. This non-therapeutic intervention trial will test the efficacy of a culturally tailored intervention entitled Sisters Informing Sisters, or SIS, on improving patient adherence to systemic therapy and patient-centered communication. SIS was developed in partnership with African American survivors, advocates, and health professionals. In this two-arm trial, women will be assigned to either the SIS intervention or enhanced usual care. The intervention includes 3 sessions with a trained survivor coach over 1 year and also receive a culturally tailored patient guide. Women in the enhanced usual care arm will receive a low literacy summary of their recommended treatment. The team at BCU is led by Dr. Vanessa Shepherd and includes several collaborators such as Dr. Lashanah. At the time of funding, this was the largest single investigator grant awarded in Virginia from the American Cancer Society. We want to be sure that we're able to recruit 200 women from Virginia over the next 4 years. For more information, please contact us by telephone or email. Thank you for your.
Okay. So that is the Sisters Informing Sisters breast cancer study. And it is only focused on Black women. I did want to pause here to see if there were any questions about the study that I could potentially answer. I'm multitasking.
My question is, what do you consider newly diagnosed? I mean,
Yes.
is there a time frame?
And that's a really good question. There is a time frame, but we are screening patients. So newly diagnosed, meaning that they are eligible for breast cancer treatment. So chemotherapy, radiation, but there are other eligibility criteria. But newly diagnosed meaning that they're still eligible and have not completed treatment, in summary. But there are other specific criteria that our study coordinators do speak with the potentially eligible patients to screen patients for the clinical trial. So we know that access and sharing information is what really helps drive and improve some of the health disparities in particular. And so just want to get the word out about the project, in particular to the spaces in the communities that particularly may not hear about this study. And yeah, just wanted to just share that with you all. And also, Miss Thelma will be sharing more information about the study with you all, such as a study flyer, if you do want to have more information about it. Were there any other potential questions or anything else that I could clarify while I'm here with you all? Well, it's great to be invited here. I am in the middle of traveling, but I could not say no to Miss Thelma. So I'm happy to be here, and I do focus a lot of my research on breast cancer prevention and breast cancer control, particularly amongst breast cancer survivors and follow-up care. And so this project is in alignment with that and supporting the activity of this research project. It has been instrumental in my passion and commitment to ending breast cancer disparities and improving breast cancer survivorship for Black women. So thank you, Ms. Thelma, for inviting me, and would love to serve as a point of contact if there are any questions that may come up, and I can share, like I said, the video with you all to be able to watch it again and share with others in the community for any newly diagnosed Black woman with breast cancer.
We can add your video if you share it. I'll post it on the website next to this Zoom.
Okay. Thank you.
Thank you, and safe travels.
Thank you so much.
Bye. Okay. So thank you, Dr. Edmonds. And through that study of Sisters Informing Studies is one of the ways, as we talk about our theme of hope and encouragement, that research work will help to give us greater hope and encouragement. And Lisa, if it's okay with you, we will go back to the introductions, because I noticed a few more people have joined and they are looking forward to introducing themselves. So why don't we start with Denise Triplett, who is also an ambassador.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Denise Triplett. I am a 22-year breast cancer survivor, and I'm also an ambassador with the Thelma D. Jones Breast Cancer Fund. Thank you, ladies and gentlemen.
Thank you. And next, Cathy DeBow. You're muted, Cathy. Cathy, you're muted.
Cathy, can you unmute?
Cathy, you're muted. We can't hear you. Oh, poor thing, she's just pouring her heart out and no one can hear her. Cathy, we can't hear you.
Okay, I finally found the unmute button. Yeah. Sorry about that. I'm just getting it. I'm just getting it to the house, but Thelma and I are twins. We worked at the I was at the IMF and she was at the World Bank. We were doing the same thing, and I've been a supporter of hers since I met her. And I'm not a breast cancer survivor, but I am one of her biggest fans. So, and I also serve on the board. So, anything she wants to do, I'll help her do. Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Bye-bye.
Okay. And we have Anthia Peters.
Good evening, everyone. My name is Anthia Peters. And, Cathy. And I am a 25-year breast cancer survivor, and I'm also an ambassador for the Thelma D. Jones Breast Cancer Fund.
Thank you. Roberta Bale.
Hi, Thelma. Good evening. My name is Roberta Bale. I'm a retired nurse from Howard University Hospital. I think Thelma kind of partially introduced me earlier. I had breast cancer many years ago. Thelma and I serve on a council together at Howard University. from the Cancer Center. And I'm a Thelma fan. Try to help out when I can. Thelma is something else. I can't keep up with her. But I looked on my email today because I had been out of town, and I said, oh my God, the meeting is tonight. So let me try to join. So I'm glad that I was able to join the meeting tonight, Thelma.
Thank you. Thank you. We're pleased to have you, Roberta. Okay, and Sergio, we can't omit you.
Yes. Hello.
Hello.
To introduce myself or?
Yes, please.
Yes. My name is Sergio Jimenez, and I work with Miss Thelma as her webmaster, helping the organization and my relationship with the cancer. My husband died from lung cancer. He was a year ago, and recently happened the anniversary of his passing away. But I am happy to hear and share all these stories and be part of something great.
Okay.
Oh, you didn't. She didn't send it on the email.
Anthia, can you mute your phone? Mute your line, please.
Okay. 1 second.
Okay. Thank you. And I think we have, and Perry, I can't, it would be so unfair to omit you.
Even though I gave the prayer?
Yes, even though you gave the prayer, you want to introduce yourself.
Okay. Let me.
And while,
Can I be seen?
no, we don't see you. And while she's looking for her picture, I will share that one of the other signature programs of the Thelma D. Jones Breast Cancer Fund is a senior meals program that we have that has been going on since the beginning of the pandemic in March 2020. We have distributed more than 70,000 meals. We have also distributed hundreds and hundreds of bags of produce, COVID testing kits, masks, and gloves when necessary. And two of the people on the call that are very instrumental in helping with that program is Scarlett Small and Sergio Jimenez. So at one point we were doing this program every day, including Saturdays. To about, in the beginning, it was about 50, 60 seniors, immune compromised residents and families here in Southwest. So as the pandemic evolved and reduced in its capacity to do as much harm or danger as it was done in the beginning, the numbers were reduced. So now we do it every Tuesday and every second Wednesday. And we will continue to do this to help to alleviate food insecurity and to ensure, particularly our seniors, where we live in Southwest, there is a large number of seniors. So we want to make sure that they have food. And our program doesn't stop with food, COVID kits, and gloves. We do wellness check on our seniors during the pandemic. This was a great help by our delivering or distributing the food to them, because that helped to reduce their this helped to reduce their possibility of their developing COVID, because they did not have to go out to be exposed. because we do wellness check and see them on a regular basis, it has helped to reduce a lot of loneliness. I'm not for sure if you're aware that loneliness is now a huge problem in our society, and not just for the seniors. Feeling connected is so important, and the fact that we see many of the seniors on a regular basis help to reduce their feeling of loneliness. And of course, we help to reduce the financial burden of purchasing food. I know all of us have been to the grocery store lately, and the cost of food is just exorbitant. And when you're seniors on fixed income and someone is making sure that you get good, fresh produce, that is a big plus in itself. So thank you, Scarlett and Sergio, for helping with the program. So now Perry is ready to introduce herself.
I have to go. I think it's hooked up.
Okay.
Hello again, everybody. Once again, Thelma has pushed me to do something, but I'm happy to do it. As she said earlier, I'm her neighbor and longtime friend, and I see a lot of familiar faces, and I love coming to her support groups because I always learn something, always. Even though I'm not a breast cancer survivor, like so many other people in society, you just can't be alive and not have been impacted by breast cancer. I had two friends, like two best friends really, when I was a young woman, who passed away from breast cancer. And I had a friend whose mother passed away from breast cancer, and on and on and on. So I'm just really pleased to always attend Thelma's meetings, and I'm just so impressed with all that she does, and I try to help her out as much as I can. But as most of you know, it's hard to keep up with her, but I try. So thanks.
Thank you, Perry. And Perry's one of the people who just live a hop, skip, and a jump from where we distribute the meals. And she regularly buys things at Costco, and share with us, from special kinds of bread to sometimes when she think our sweet tooth needs to be treated a little better. So I am very pleased that we have a neighbor like Perry, and especially that I could come and use her station, her house, to do our meeting. So thank you, Perry. Now that we have introduced everyone, I am thrilled now to welcome Lisa Baynes, who is with the American Cancer Society, Inc. And Lisa will talk to us about a few things. One, the new voices of Black women. And I might mention Perry, who just spoke, was one of the people who convinced me to become involved with Voices of Black Women, because Lisa knows that I had formerly regretted to the American Cancer Society, as great of a program that I thought it was. I was overwhelmed, but I am glad now that I have been trained as an ambassador and will be part of the program. So Lisa will talk to us about Voices of Black Women. She will also talk about making strides against breast cancer and the 2024 Faces of Hope, as well as telling us a bit about herself and how she got involved with ACS and her passion.
Yes. Well, thank you so much, Ms. Thelma, for inviting me. It's always a pleasure. And just to tell you a little bit about me, my name is Lisa Baynes. I'm Associate Director of Development for the American Cancer Society. But, we all have a cancer connection. My daughter is a cancer survivor. She had a ganglion neuroblastoma. She was diagnosed when she was 1. And of course, unfortunately, I have 11 close girlfriends that are breast cancer survivors. One thing I can say is that now I can at least say that they're survivors. Had this happened years ago, I wouldn't be able to say that they were survivors, but they're survivors and they're thriving because of the work that you all are doing and where we have been making strides year over year. So this is wonderful to be a part of this organization. This is something that I love to do every day, and it is my passion. I'm going to share my screen. Okay, and I think we can all see it now. Can you see it, Sergio? Okay, great. So I want to talk to everybody just a little bit about making strides against breast cancer. Making Strides Against Breast Cancer is scheduled to be held on Saturday, October the 26th. It's going to be at the beautiful Tidal Basin, and we usually walk along the Tidal Basin past the Jefferson Memorial, a lot of the other memorials, and we have a base where we just all congregate at. We have a loud band, and we congregate in the rugby field area, which is adjacent to the Holocaust Museum and the U.S. Mint as well. So I'm going to go back a little bit here. We were talking about a little bit about, Ms. Thelma mentioned the Faces of Hope. The Faces of Hope are selected breast cancer survivors and thrivers, and we usually have folks that nominate other people or they nominate themselves, and then we actually usually select about 10 each year. All of these breast cancer survivors and thrivers all have unique stories. They've had cancer at different points in their lives, breast cancer. Some of them have been very unique. Last year, we had a person who found out that they had breast cancer when they were in prison. So how isolating that must be. I mean, as it is, you're confined and you can't go anyplace, and then you find out that you do have breast cancer. So they represent the American Cancer Society at many local events, in the media, and certainly during the walk during the year. We're going to talk a little bit about Voices of Black Women. And thank you so much, Ms. Thelma, for serving as an ambassador. And let me tell you a little bit about this study. This is an important study. It's unique of its kind. It is groundbreaking as well. The reason why it's called Voices of Black Women is because for many years, Black women voices have not been heard. So this particular study, unlike other studies, we are looking for Black women between the ages of 25 and 55. We are looking for Black women who have had no history of cancer except for basal or squamous skin cancer. And they also have to be biologically female and identify as a Black woman. And they also need to live in this particular area. The study is going to follow these women over a course of most of their lives, in fact, maybe about 30 years. The study, we're looking for about 4,700 Black women in the Washington, D.C., Maryland area. The study itself is going to be comprised of looking for 100,000 Black women. The first part of the study is very easy. It is a registration process. It's very easy. It probably will take about 60 minutes or so to complete. And then after that, we just touch base with people twice a year. And the 2 times each year, the information that you have to fill out is probably a little bit less than maybe about 30 minutes. And that's twice a year. So the initial one is to getting a lot of background information. And we're going to follow these women all through their lives for about 30 years. And of course, if someone during those years does develop any type of breast cancer, we will be able to encourage them. We'll be able to help them on their road and provide assistance as well. So that's just a little bit about the Voices of Black Women. The study actually just started on May the 6th. So we had a lot of media around this. We had a lot of newspapers, and you'll probably hear a little bit about this Probably as soon as I get off this call, you'll hear a commercial or so about that. Once again, who can join? These are Black women between the ages of 25 and 55 with no history of cancer except for basal or squamous cancer. And they need to be living or in one of the states, which is either Washington, D.C., Maryland area, or even Northern Virginia. And why join us? It is so simple to join us. By taking part, we're furthering ongoing studies to find out why we have so many Black women in this area who are not only coming down to cancer, but earlier. We're seeing cancer in women as early as almost 20 years old. What's going on? What is the common factor? Are we all going to the same places? Are we eating the same foods? Are we in a particular location? Do we all come from a particular background? And participants that use this access, because it's a website you just go on, the QR code is right there on the screen, and we will have cards that we're going to be giving out. So it's a quick check-in. And as I say, we're going to be checking in, and you'll be followed at least twice a year to help us gather meaningful insights on Black women's health. So please look for that information. If you yourselves know of anyone who is just so much has an outreach, such as Miss Thelma, I don't think anybody else does in the world. But if you do know of anyone, please let us know, because we're getting that information. Ambassadors are people like Miss Thelma who have a lot of reach, who know a lot of people, who can get the word out to people. We are also working with a lot of African-American churches as well. So we have a couple of first ladies at a few churches we've been speaking with, and they're getting that off as well as companies and corporations who really want to get behind this groundbreaking cohort study. Talking a little bit about the walk. As I said, the walk is going to be held on October the 26th on the Tidal Basin at about 9 o'clock in the morning. We are growing, and we're growing in leaps and bounds. I think back in 2021, we started off with like 2,500. We're actually expecting almost 6,000 people. So we are growing, it's growing, and we've got so many wonderful things planned for this year. Why join Strides? Because in 2023, we have more than 287,000 women are being diagnosed with breast cancer. And there are men, like I said, men, about 2,700 men will be diagnosed. We know that it's an alarming rate right now that we are finding with death rate has declined. However, we have more and more African-American women that are dying from this. And of course, the critical component is screening to catch the cancer early, where it might be easier for it to be treated. So screening is the key. Just letting you know, like I said, breast cancer does remain prevalent. Despite the drop in cancer, all deaths by cancer, Black women are actually 41% more likely to die of breast cancer due to the fact of screening. Like I said, not going to get screening. We were in the pandemic, and there were a lot of Black women that just skipped that 1 year. And we all know you skip 1 year, you can go from a stage 1 to stage 4 by just not getting tested, and getting tested every single year, especially if it's in your family. Just letting you know some of the breakthroughs that the American Cancer Society has been a part of, and some things we don't even know. It's nice to know that mammograms, we were the first to demonstrate the efficacy of mammograms for early detection. Tamoxifen, one of the funded research medicines that are widely used right now, as well as Herceptin. Understanding metastasis and reducing disparities, and also responsiveness to treatment. Finding new ways to treat, more aggressive ways to treat aggressive forms of breast cancer. Okay. Also, we are making impacts. Discovery, we have 3 pillars: discovery, patient support, and advocacy. Discovery is research, funding research, $78 million alone for breast cancer specific research. And we heard about some of the research and grants that we were talking about a little bit earlier today with Dr. Edmonds as well. Patient support, making sure we get out the information. A lot of people don't realize that we have a cancer hotline where someone will come on the phone, an actual physical person, 24 hours a day. There's no other hotline that's like that where you can call somebody and a physical person gets on the line. I always tell folks the easy way to remember the hotline. Remember this show called 227, starred Jackie Harry back in the day. And I always remember that number, makes it the easy way to remember it. It's 800-227-2345. Always remember that number. Anyone can call that number. We can get you in contact with an oncology nurse to speak with you, help point you in the right direction of your journey on anything, whether it be maybe food insecurity because you are a cancer survivor and you're trying to make ends meet, a place to stay, a place to go to next to where you're going for treatment, and even more important, rides. We offer free rides through our Road to Recovery program. So remember that's one of the other things the American Cancer Society provides, as well as advocacy. And thank you so much, Ms. Thelma, for being an advocate as well and speaking on the Hill to get things changed, and whether that would be to lower the age when people get mammograms. And it might be through this study, we find out that maybe a certain ethnic group might be able to have a study earlier as opposed to other ones because of the instances of cancer occurring so early. So a lot is going on. Like I mentioned, health equity, lodging. Lodging is great. Your nearest, we have Hope Lodges. There are 38 Hope Lodges around the nation. Our closest Hope Lodge is located in Baltimore, Maryland. Reason being for this is because it's next to Johns Hopkins and the University of Maryland. Anyone can stay there for free along with their caregivers and their family while they are getting treatment. Also, while you're there as well, we have vans that drive people back and forth for their treatment. And also we have a lot of companies and organizations, and we have a kitchen where there's food that's provided as well. And of course, don't forget transportation, which is Road to Recovery. And we have it's kind of like an Uber, but it's for cancer patients. So very often, maybe you do have family and friends, and maybe you don't. Or maybe your relatives don't have the capacity to drive you to and from your appointments. It is necessary that you keep your appointments. So therefore, it's necessary that someone is able to provide transportation. Talking a little bit now, moving into the walk. Look for the walk. We have a wonderful experience. We had a band last year, Brencore All-Stars. They'll be back again this year. We have a beautiful survivor tent. We'll have a survivor tent experience, photo booths, pink chairs. It is a celebration of life. We are also going to be remembering those that we lost, but we're also celebrating and fundraising and celebrating that we have people that are now survivors and thrivers, which we haven't had in the past. So thank you all so much. And also remember that we talked a little bit about every little bit makes a difference. What if everybody got together and just gave $10? Where could we be? What could we fund? What research could come out of that? $10 can help someone on the support line. $25 can train survivors to help people connect with other folks. $40 can help someone with our cancer information specialist when you get on the line. $65 can provide free night lodging at the Hope Lodge. And of course, $100 can provide rides back and forth for people who do not have rides back and forth for their cancer treatment. So there's just a plethora of things that we can do together. Certainly, we are the hope, we are the future, so let's celebrate. So I'm going to just open it up a little bit and just see if we have any questions. I'm going to stop my share so I can actually then see everyone. And do that. And I'll open the floor for some questions.
Hi, my name is Roberta Bell, and I don't have a question. I have a comment. And because I'm in my church is going to have their annual conference in July in Rochester, New York. And I called the Cancer Society there, and I was put in touch with this gentleman who's going to be coming to the hotel. He's going to have a display focusing really on colorectal cancer, because that's what we asked him to do. But he was telling me, he said, have you heard about a study that focuses on Black women? And I said no, because I had not. And he sent me the information about it. And he said, well, can I share this information? I come to the conference. And sure, because we go from Washington, Virginia, Maryland, Connecticut, New Jersey, and New York. And so, I mean, I was sitting here and I said, that sounds like the study Jason was talking about. So I have to tell them, DC, sign up with him.
You were coming in and out. You were coming in and out a little bit, but that is the study. The reason why it's targeted in certain areas because we are actually targeting areas where there are high instances of Black women and also high instances where we see cancer. So we are trying to find out before it's the study at first is going to be for women who do not have cancer because we need to track those women and we need to find out, do they develop cancer? What are they doing if they did have it? So it's finding out the patterns. And like I said, there's just never been a study of this type, which just concentrates on Black women because we have so much of a higher instances of having cancer, especially triple negative breast cancer in those particular areas. So we've got to find out what is happening. But yes.
I'm happy to hear about it now. Because when he asked me about it, and I know days ago, so I had not heard, but I had here tonight for you. Thank you.
Thank you. Anybody else? Other questions?
Yes. Carrie.
Hi, I'm sharing this with Thelma. I'm so thrilled to hear you talk about this. So I woke up, I can't remember, it was last week. I'm sure you probably know, but everything on my phone was all my news feeds and stuff like that were popping up about this, and CNN, MSNBC, Washington Post, just everything. And so of course the first person I texted was Thelma. And it was early in the morning and she was like, oh yeah, I know about it. I'm working on it, something about it right now. But the first question, so you answered the first question and it makes sense about why focusing on DC, which is good news, but it's also a little scary.
It is. It's scary.
Based on why you are focusing on DC. But the other question that I had, because I think about the fact that I have a 27-year-old daughter. We don't have breast cancer in our family, that I know of, not like with my grandparents or anything like that. My mother didn't have it. The question that I have is, this is definitely sounds like a groundbreaking study. It's over 30-year period. We know that Black people in general are not, not very trusting of things like this. The question that I have is, so I understand why, you could say the study is good, that will help Black women overall. But if you're trying to get somebody who may be a little wary of it, do you have any recommendation about what you might tell them about how it might help them?
Absolutely.
So personally.
Yes. Actually, because, our story has to be told. Our story we have to find results for this. It's very scary because we actually have a special committee that we had to select for this as well, to make sure that the study is done right. It's a private study. We won't share your information. As we all know, the history for Black people in general, from the Tuskegee studies and things like this. That's why we also are looking for people who are in the African American community to talk to other folks, to let them know that the importance of this, and that if we don't take control of finding out something about ourselves and finding out trends, then we will not be able to stop the trend. We need to find a way to understand it. We need to find a way to see why people are having this, and we need to learn about those patterns. And there's also, even though breast cancer might not run in your family, people are getting breast cancer where it doesn't run in their family. So where is this coming from? Is it something environmental? Is it something that's a stressor that these women are but we really need to find out the pattern so we can stop this. If we don't know where things are coming from and we don't find pathways where we can reduce something, then we're just destined to keep going the way we're going.
Thank you.
Learning that we need to band together and understand this.
Okay, thank you.
Question. Anything else? Other questions?
It's not a question, it's a comment.
Mhm.
I'm gonna give kudos to American Cancer Society, that 24/7 hotline, because I referred, folks know I'm a survivor, and they'll come to me with questions, and that's the first number I give them to say, hey, give them a call, especially if you just need to talk to someone. And I get positive results, feedback all the time. And I know a member of my church just went to the Hope Lodge and had nothing but good information when they went through the whole process with the caregiver staying there with them. I was just amazed of their story, and they're doing good now. So kudos, American Cancer Society.
Thank you so much. I encourage you, you can actually go to, I go there quite often and I volunteer at the Hope Lodge. It's just an overwhelming experience. People are just so grateful to be there. People save almost $9,000 a year by just having some place that you can stay and you can eat. Can you imagine, even if you have cancer and you live here in Washington, D.C., and of course, mainly where you might go for your treatment is at the University of Maryland or Johns Hopkins. You cannot drive back and forth every single day when you have appointments and you're having chemotherapy, radiation. You cannot do that. You need to be close by the hospital so you come back. Can you imagine even driving, which would be an hour and some to go into Prince George's County? You can't do that. So we have many people who also live here in the area, as well as those that live outside of the area that are coming and they have family. You don't want to be away from your family. You can bring your family with you and they can stay. So it's like other place that you can have that, you would have that access and availability to do so.
Yes.
Anybody else? Well, thank you all so much for the opportunity to come here and talk to you a little bit about that. But please make sure to tell the people about all the resources, spread the news on Voices. It is so important. It's groundbreaking. I'm just so overwhelmed and filled with joy that this is finally happening, that there could be a study about us, and that we can now find reasons. Normally, we're Black women, second, third, fourth, fifth. We don't think about us first. This is groundbreaking. So it's something that we can all pull together to make sure that we can, find solutions. So thank you all so much for the time. And you're on mute. You're on mute, Thelma. Thank you.
Thank you. I was so excited to respond and acknowledge the great work that you are doing, and of course for sharing what you have just shared. I think maybe Anthia may have, I see someone's hand waving. Anthia, do you have a question? Okay, so it was a mistake. But as you said, this is groundbreaking, and I am so pleased for people like Perry, who loaded my phone with the message of have you heard about this? And as I said, I had formerly regretted that I could not take on another thing, but I changed my mind, and I am very happy because I think our voices need to be heard. And I know that I am good about using my voice for causes like this. So I would have been doing myself and my people a disservice had I not become trained and involved to do this. So thank you again, Lisa, and we all look forward to seeing you around town, but definitely in October for the breast cancer walk. And with that, I would like to share some other upcoming events. So first, I want to call everyone's attention to our newsletter that was released today by our newsletter editor and board member, Lashanah Thomas Walker. So if you have not seen our lead newsletter, please check it out. It is chock full of information, a little bit of something for everyone. There's a great story in the newsletter about a father and a daughter going through breast cancer a breast cancer diagnosis together. You know, it's just when you think you have seen or heard everything, and then you see something like that. So I would encourage you to check that out, to see about the bond that they have in this. And, you know, we often talk about no one should travel their journey alone. So here's two family members that's traveling it. And also because the father, of course, is a male, we learned about breast cancer in men, which brings me to the next thing that I wanted to share with you. So June is National Men's Health Month. And on Wednesday, June the 19th, the Thelma D. Jones Breast Cancer Fund will host our breast cancer meeting, and the focus will be on men's health. We have as our guest speaker, Hillary Shelton, who is, for lack of a better word, a policy walk for the NAACP, who is also a longtime Southwest resident. And so Hillary will be talking about policies and how it can have a greater impact on changing the paradigm shift around men's health. At that same meeting, we will have two, not one, but two male breast cancer survivors. So I should say the meeting is going to be in person at St. Augustine's Episcopal Church, which is my church, at 555 Water Street Southwest, directly across the street from Arena Stage. So as I was saying, we will have two male breast cancer survivors. One will be coming to us via Zoom or virtually from Las Vegas, Nevada. And his name is Alan Herbert. And Alan will talk about not only being diagnosed with breast cancer once, but being diagnosed twice, going through stressful changes on his job in the space aerodynamics industry, as well as a very difficult divorce involving child custody, the custody of their children. So that will be a lot. That's a lot on one person. So I invite you to return in June to hear that. Also, I mentioned we're having two male breast cancer survivors. Dr. Dexter Allen will be sharing his story. Dr. Allen is from New York City. It is not confirmed whether or not Dr. Allen will be here or if he will be doing it via Zoom. But Dr. Allen was introduced to me by my next door neighbor. And if she has anything to do with it, as she said, it's her cousin. She said he will be here in person to deliver his story about his breast cancer journey. And on that same program, we will have opening remarks by Clinton Burnside, who is with, who leads Howard University's Men Take 10 program. And Clinton and I, along with Roberta Bell, serve on Howard University's JEDI Council, JEDI as in Justice, Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion. And the invited MC for the meeting is Derek Butts, who is the president and co-founder of Prostate Health Matters. So Derek has spoken before at our meeting. So as you can see, the June meeting is going to be a dynamic meeting where we will learn more about men's health. So for the ladies and men on the line, please encourage everyone to attend that meeting, but particularly encourage the men in your lives to be there. We will have a reception, networking reception for 30 minutes, starting at 6 p.m. And the actual meeting will start at 6:30 p.m. and we will have refreshments. Okay, so don't forget to mark that on your calendar. And on Wednesday, July 17th, we welcome Smith Center for Healing and the Arts. As you know, we have welcomed Smith Center now. I think this is the 5th or 6th year in a row where we will be learning a lot about what they are continuing to do in the space around integrative oncology and patient navigation. As many of you know, Smith Center, along with George Washington University, trained me as one of the best patient navigators around. And then coming up even earlier, or that has already happened. So in addition to spending much of my day last Saturday with the American Cancer Society at this wonderful brunch and getting to meet a lot of people, I also had the great opportunity of participating and speaking at a ribbon cutting event for a call box to further or help raise awareness of breast cancer. So you may ask, what is a call box? So back in the day, it was the apparatus that the city used for fire, emergency, and police calls. And of course, as time progressed and technology changed, the call box became obsolete, and they're everywhere throughout the city. So when, along with people like the DC Humanities Council and others, decided this is a part of the city's history, what can we do with these boxes? So I was very pleased that a call box in Brooklyn, it's around 7th and Irvin Street Northeast, has become a symbol of awareness for breast cancer. And this was done, the effort was led by Juliana Kochner. Some of you may know her. She is a leading team member with the Brim Foundation, as in Dr. Rachel Brim, who leads imaging at George Washington University. So if you're out and about one weekend or one day, please consider dropping by the Brooklyn area and seeing that call box. So as I said, that effort was led by Juliana Kochner, and it was done in celebration of her mother's 22 years of being a breast cancer survivor. Also, coming up on Monday, this coming Monday, May 20th, the Southwest Neighborhood Assembly, which is one of our first, the Thelma D. Jones Breast Cancer Fund's first partners, who allowed us to hold our meetings monthly in their lovely office free of charge. We'll be hosting our annual Youth and Education Forum. And it will be hosted by the Southwest Neighborhood Assembly's Youth Activities Task Force and our Scholarship Task Force, which I mentioned earlier. And I have the honors of chairing the community's Youth Activities Task Force now for nearly 15 years. So that meeting will showcase the work of youth serving organizations here in Southwest. And part of the goal is to raise awareness of the great work that people, volunteers are doing here, volunteers and paid staff are doing with our children and young adults to help balance the negative narrative that is too often said about our youth. As I said last night in the meeting with Charles Allen, that it is time that we change the narrative about how we talk about our youth. And one of the reasons is because it's just instilling fear, and it's not giving our youth a positive name. And I said to him, for every time the police can read a long sheet of crimes, they can also balance it by saying about the great things that our youth have done here in Southwest. And I said, a good example that the community does not know, that during my years at the World Bank, I started a youth program, a youth employment program that still exists today. That program was modeled after a program that I had a leadership role in. And we never hear things about that. We never hear things about the scholarship program, or we never hear things about the number of times that Thelma D. Jones Breast Cancer Fund makes an effort to try and get into a school in Southwest or a youth organization like our Parks and Recreation that has a program called Rising Leaders or Rising Young Girls to teach breast health classes there. So we don't hear about those kinds of things. So that's what our meeting is all about. So I would encourage you to attend. And then lastly, on June 2nd, Sunday, June 2nd at 9:30 a.m., my church, St. Augustine's Episcopal Church, will host our annual Thurgood Marshall Feast Day. Many of you have heard me say time before that Thurgood Marshall lived here in Southwest. He attended St. Augustine's Church. As a matter of fact, his first wife died of cancer. And his second wife, Cecilia Marshall, was a longtime personal friend of mine and supported not only the work that I did with youth, but she supported the work that I do with the Thelma D. Jones Breast Cancer Fund to the day she passed away. So the guest speaker for the forum will be Janae Nelson, who is the Legal Defense Fund leader out of New York. And some of you may recall that Thurgood Marshall helped found the Legal Defense Fund, Legal and Education Defense Fund of the NAACP. So there is a lot coming up, and for everything that I am involved in, I try to make breast cancer a part of it. So if there are any questions about any of the events that I've named, you can feel free to call me. And I want to thank Sergio for doing the flyer for our church for the Thurgood Marshall event. So we have covered a lot in a short period of time, and I look forward to seeing you at the next meeting. And are there any additional questions or comments?
I will share the video and the link for this meeting posted on the website to all the guests here.
Thank you. And we want to thank our guests who are on Facebook Live. Even though we can't see you, we know that you are there. Okay. And Angie, I noticed you came in and you didn't get a chance to introduce yourself. Please introduce yourself. You're muted.
Good evening, everyone. I do apologize for that. I was late getting on because I didn't get the link today. But Anthia sent it to me and I was able to join in, and just thankful to be a part of the Thelma D. Jones Breast Cancer Fund and being an ambassador. And I just thankful, just so thankful that I can say God has blessed me with 26 years of being a thriver. And I do look forward to helping whomever, however, along the way, as people helped me. And as Thelma helps so many others, we're following in your footsteps to help as many as we can. And that is our charge. So thank you all for having me.
Thank you, and glad we're able to recognize you as well. Okay, so again, thank you. I always, everybody always love a large number of people, but I remember once Lily Shockney, who trained and recertified me as a breast health educator with the American Cancer Society when I first started out public speaking on cancer and breast cancer. Lily Shockney said in the training that, sure, when we put a lot of work into an effort, we want a lot of people to be there. She said, however, if there's only one person there, give that one person the same amount of attention and care as though it was a large audience. And she told the story of an event being canceled. It was snowing. She was coming from Pennsylvania. She did not get the notice, and she drove all the way to Maryland. And when she got there, the event had been canceled. But as she is leaving, as she said, down a long, dark road, she met a lady, and the lady hadn't gotten the message either. So long story short, Lily convinced the lady to get in the car, and they had a conversation. And Lily said that was one of the most meaningful meetings she's ever had. And there's no way she could believe that she would have had that same impact had there been tons of people there. And I say all of this to say this small, intimate group, Lisa and Dr. Edmonds had a chance to share a lot of information that had we had a much larger crowd and list of speakers, you wouldn't have had the opportunity to share all of this and to have the robust conversations that we have had. And the good thing is that all of the information that you've shared, Lisa, is recorded, and as Sergio has said, will be posted on the website. So in a sense, every ill wind blows some good. So again, thank you. And I hope to see you at St. Augustine's Church on Wednesday, June 19th, as we celebrate National Men's Health Month. Good night.
Good night, everyone. Thank you, Lisa.
Thank you, and good night.
Good night.
Bye.